Hezbollah rockets hit northern Israel as more Israeli soldiers get ready to cross the border. I'm Lara Logan.
I'm Kelly Kobiella. A frustrating Sunday for some in St. Louis, without power for 5 days and powerless to do anything about it.
And the controversial new head of the Episcopal Church speaks out on the role of women, homosexuality, and the threat of a split within her church.
This is the CBS Evening News with Russ Mitchell.
Good evening. The Mideast crisis stepped up today with blows and counterblows on both sides, along with signs of diplomacy aimed at ending the conflict. Here's the latest. Lebanon is pounded anew by Israeli artillery as the UN warns of a growing humanitarian crisis. Hezbollah fires a new round of rockets at targets across northern Israel. In Damascus, the Syrian government calls for a ceasefire and direct talks with the U.S. And the Saudis call for U.S. intervention as Secretary Rice departs on a mission to the war zone. We have a team of correspondents covering the crisis tonight, beginning with Chief Foreign Correspondent Lara Logan in Haifa. Lara, good evening.
Good evening, Russ. Well, Israel indicated today that it would accept a temporary international force in South Lebanon, preferably led by NATO, but only if it had a mandate to stop the rocket attacks that continue to take a bloody toll here. Hezbollah rockets struck terror into the hearts of Haifa residents as Israel's third largest city was hammered once again. This attack sent Israeli homes up in flames, children running in panic, and shocked residents trying to stay calm.
I'm not afraid, but I hope they finish that war quickly and made a peace.
Along with the rockets being fired into Israel, Hezbollah was sending a message. Not only has it survived 12 days of the Israeli onslaught, it's still able to strike decisively and with increasing accuracy into Israeli territory. Although the Israelis quickly struck back, destroying the rocket launching position, the latest attacks still cost 2 more Israeli lives. People here say casualty figures would be much higher if so many families had not fled their homes or taken refuge in underground shelters. Not even the roads are safe. The Israeli Prime Minister complained his people's suffering was being ignored internationally.
Israeli cities are attacked on a daily basis by our enemies from Lebanon is not emphasized enough.
A point driven home to the visiting French foreign minister in Haifa when he was forced to take cover under a stairwell.
Okay, we can go.
Some of these soldiers have already been in and out of South Lebanon 3 times. The Israeli army is bringing more troops and more armor up here to the border, getting ready for their next big push. So far, they've succeeded in taking a strategic village that puts them within striking distance of Hezbollah's stronghold in the south. Their intention clearly to weaken Hezbollah as much as possible before outside pressure forces Israel to the negotiating table. Just in the last few hours, Israeli forces began that big push into South Lebanon with large numbers of troops crossing the border. But at the same time, Israel is still preparing to expand their operations even further, Russ.
Well, Lara, Israel has said several times it does not plan a full-fledged invasion of Lebanon. But from what you know, just how far does the Israeli military intend to go into the country?
Well, that's the very interesting question. You know, their plan from the start was not to extend more than about a mile or so into Lebanon. But now army officers are saying that they really need to go as far as the Litani River, some 13 miles inside Lebanon, if they're going to stop those rocket attacks. No permission has been given for that yet, but it's easy to see how Israel could be dragged deeper and deeper into Lebanon, even if it's against their original intentions, Russ.
Lara Logan in Haifa, thank you very much. And to Lebanon now, where Israeli jets bombarded Beirut and other parts of the country, killing 8 civilians and wounding 100. Richard Roth has more on another bloody day in Lebanon and the chaos now sweeping through the nation.
Israeli warplanes found more targets to pound in Beirut's southern suburbs, Hezbollah's home turf, already a landscape of rubble and ruin before the airstrikes today. Bombs fell near Baalbek, east of the capital, and rained all over South Lebanon, including for the first time the port city of Sidon. Authorities say more than 500,000 people have been driven from their homes by the aerial assault. They've been pushed onto jammed roads and into makeshift refugee camps where there's no guarantee of safety and only a promise of aid eventually. The UN's relief administrator touring Lebanon warned a disproportionate response by Israel here violates international law, after earlier simply saying, in this war, both sides are wrong.
It has to stop. The whole thing has to stop. This is no natural disaster. This is a man-made crisis. This is a senseless war. Should never have started, should never be carried out like it is now.
Israel's eased its blockade of Beirut's port and relief supplies are arriving, but aid agencies need Israeli guarantees of safe passage to deliver them. They'll also need ingenuity. Roads like this, the main highway connecting Beirut with South Lebanon, make the point. Moving relief supplies or other aid means getting around damage like this, and none of it will be safe without Israeli guarantees. There are none, certainly not in South Lebanon, where any moving vehicles become a target and hospitals are overflowing with the injured. Among the casualties today was a Lebanese photographer documenting her country's destruction, killed when a missile hit her taxi. The U.S. Embassy here says most Americans who wanted to leave Lebanon have now gotten out. That's about 12,000 of them. And the embassy says that evacuation assistance is now nearly complete. Russ?
Richard, any idea how many Americans have chosen to stay?
Well, there were about 25,000 Americans here before the war. Many have decided to stay, and some haven't quite decided what to do yet. I met a Lebanese-American family today. The father runs a fast food restaurant in the south of the city. The bombing caused them to move to the north into the mountains. And when the bombing began there, they finally decided it was time to leave, which they did today. They're headed for Akron, Ohio.
Richard Roth in Beirut. Thank you very much. Doctors say former Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's condition has deteriorated, but there is no immediate danger to his life. Sharon suffered a debilitating stroke back in January. For the first time since this round of trouble in the Middle East broke out, the U.S. is taking a hands-on diplomatic role. The White House made two big moves today, and Joey Chen is there now with more. Joey.
Russ, at this hour, the president's top diplomat, Secretary of State Rice, is on her way to the region. She's headed first to Jerusalem to meet with Israeli leaders. Later on, she will meet with Arab officials. But well ahead of her trip, the administration has telegraphed its wishes. What's the president to do when one of his closest Arab allies wants to make its views on the crisis known? Listen. Mr. Bush hurried back to the White House for a rare Sunday session with Saudi officials. Secretary Rice joined in too, making a last stop before setting out for the region. The Saudis came bearing a simple appeal for the U.S. to intervene.
We requested a ceasefire to allow for the cessation of hostilities.
But that's not on Secretary Rice's agenda. The administration remains content to buy Israel more time to root out Hezbollah. But Rice is willing to talk about the role peacekeeping forces might play in South Lebanon, as long as U.S. troops aren't among them.
She will be talking with our friends and allies about whether and when a force is appropriate and how it might be constructed.
Also on the White House's fix-it list, building ties with other players in the region, including Syria, which has signaled Washington it wants a role in settling the conflict, even though both parties remain wary of the other.
The Arabs are not the enemies of the United States. The United States should not be flagrantly one-sided.
U.S. envoys don't usually wade into a crisis like this without a plan to end the fighting in hand. Secretary Rice's aim, however, is simply to show that the U.S. is doing something to help, just not too much, Russ.
Joey Chen at the White House. Thank you. And still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, powerless in St. Louis. The scramble to end the blackout, one power line at a time.
I learned a lot when I found out I had high blood pressure, but I didn't know it could lead to erectile dysfunction.
Having diabetes changed my life, but I didn't know it could lead to ED.
Guys should know that having certain health conditions like high blood pressure
or diabetes may lead to ED, and that Levitra can help.
Doctors know Levitra works for men with ED, even those with high blood pressure or diabetes. Levitra is only for men healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems or are on alpha blocker therapy, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away.
Imagine what Levitra can do for you. Talk to your doctor.
The more you know about ED, the more you'll want to know about Levitra.
If you use those over-the-counter drops several times a day, you may have chronic dry eye due to decreased tear production without knowing it, like me. And my doctor prescribed Restasis.
With continued use, Restasis helps increase your natural ability to produce tears, which may be reduced by inflammation due to chronic dry eye. It should not be used by patients with active eye infections and has not been studied in patients with a history of herpes viral infections of the eye. The most common side effect is a burning sensation.
More of my own tears. Thanks, Restasis.
Part of you is afraid to treat your menopausal symptoms. Part of you is afraid not to. Visit nomenopause.com. Because part of you is confused about hormone therapy, all of you wants to understand more. Check out nomenopause.com.
My baby left for college, and I got a pain reliever for my back. Took classes, too. Got something for arthritis pain. Different pains, different pain relievers. But now Advil is my every pain reliever. Works wherever I hurt. I'm all Advil.
When something is real, you know it.
Like the real thing, baby.
Introducing new Just for Men. Its new True Color formula targets only gray.